What's going on, everybody? It is Monday afternoon. Hope y'all having a good start to your week. I know I am. We're going to go ahead and talk about some of the things going on, some of Trump's trade deal successes that he's had over the last 2 months. And this summer, man, it's been the summer of trade. Trump is just fucking killing it right now. Jesus Christ. The amount of money he's getting invested in the U.S. and everything. And I don't know if y'all remember, everybody was talking about the U.S. economy is going to go to hell. The tariffs are fucking the end of the world. Oh my God. Trump's destroyed America. Now, we heard that over and over on a loop, and I always stayed kind of true to the, hey, you know what? Let's see how things work out. Because I'm not the most educated on economics and all that kind of stuff. I know a little bit what's going on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid or ignorant to the whole idea of it all. But I was kind of like, you know what? Trump is very good with trades. I think that's his strong point is his ability to the art of the deal, right? And to make deals. And yeah, he's been proving that throughout his presidency. I mean, we've been seeing so much investments coming into the US and it's insane and nobody's talking about it. And if they do, they're like, oh shit, it's Trump. So how do we spin this to make it look evil? He's Hitler. This is fascism. Whatever else you got to say, because they can't give the man a win. They just can't. It's almost near impossible. Now, one of the things I do want to say is make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment on there. Go ahead and comment. But I want to go ahead and start with what I feel is a very, very good resume for what he has done in the realm of trade. So let's go ahead and check this out. So if you don't follow us on X, make sure to follow us on X. I'm going to show you our account. It is at sblitzed. At sblitzed. Chris is also on there, but I'll show you. I'll put his on there later. But go ahead and follow us there. You can get all the content that I put on X, and we also have Instagram, TikTok. Kind we have it, but every time we get any momentum going, they fucking ban us. They constantly, all right, hey, you've gone against community guidelines, and going against community guidelines is me literally just saying, hey, remember the Russian hoax? Look it, this is the media talking about it themselves, and I pushed it out, and somehow I'm the asshole for pointing that out. I don't know, man. TikTok, I gave up on that shit a long time ago. We have X, Instagram, and Rumble. Go follow us on Rumble. We're gonna be doing more. I'll be doing a live on Rumble probably every night around 9 o'clock, to 9:30, just a 30-minute segment on just any news going on, X news or whatever is going on in the world. Now, later today, I'm gonna interview an ex-employee of the DoD. He's gonna be talking about child sex trafficking and all the little webs it has and how it conducts itself and how it goes unnoticed for a lot of people, and the need for us to be alert and aware of what is going on in that underbelly of child sex trafficking, because it's a terrible business. It's a big business and it needs to be exposed and eliminated as soon as possible. And that's why we have been pushing and pushing. And I agree, we need to keep putting pressure on the Trump administration to release that Epstein list of people that have been to those kind of parties and conducted themselves in that manner, and I also participated in the child sex trafficking ring. Man, those people need to be just paraded out and seen as the scumbags that they are, and be exposed and be incarcerated for the rest of their lives for abusing children and playing with their psyche. They're messing up their minds, putting them all that anxiety, everything, just hopelessness in those children that were unfortunately put in those circumstances. So I definitely uh want y'all to listen to that. Let's go ahead and talk about Trump's trade deals. Now, these are some of the successes I had put together with a little help from AI. Trump's trade deal wins post tariff war deals, summer 2025 recap. Since launching his Liberation Day tariff war, President Trump has hammered out major trade deals with several countries. Here's what he's secured so far. So this one just happened yesterday. So let's go ahead and talk about European Union tariff slashed from 30 to 15%. So that is good, right? They got a good deal there. What Trump got? 750 billion in US energy purchases. That's insane. So that means they're going to be getting a lot of their energy from us now. And they're not going to be getting it from who? Who's the one that's doing all the energy deals with the European Union? Fucking Russia. We're finally going to get Europeans to stop funding the war in Russia because they're all dependent on Russian energy. So good deal there. I really like that one. Now, what else do you get? 600 billion in EU investments into the US. This guy's just bringing all kinds of business into America, and it is incredible to watch. US aircraft, semiconductors, chemical exempted, all this kind of stuff is going to be exempted. That's going to be a good thing for both countries, but we're going to get the upper hand in that. Japan, Now the auto tariffs cut to 15%. So that's a big one for them. What Trump got. Now, one of the things is I want to talk about is we're going to talk about the auto industry in a second, and I really want to explain my position on that and why I think America is not really going to get anything out of the auto industry, just because my experiences of being in Japan. So, 550 billion Japanese investments into the U.S. That's big. Boosted U.S. agricultural, auto, and pharma exports. Good one right there. And semiconductor cooperation. Now, America's Trump's been saying that you never see our cars in Japan, and you don't see our cars there and all this kind of stuff he explains. But I don't know, Trump just hasn't spent enough time in Japan, or he probably never went like in a normal day in Japan because he gets like the presidential treatment, of course. But there's no way you could bring American cars into Japan and be successful just because the fact American cars. What is something about American cars? They're wide, they're big, they're long. I mean, it's that sounds no homo, right? That sounded kind of gay, but yeah, they're big cars, right? We have SUVs, we have trucks. They're all big. Now, if you go to Japan, the streets they will literally have one lane, and that's a two-lane street. So when you are coming in and one's coming out, you literally have to go to the left a little bit or the right, depending on what side you're on, and they squeeze by and they squeeze by, and that's the way it goes. And that's in parts of the major cities that they have there. It is very small roads. They're very, very semi, right? They call it. It's very, very narrow roads. And on top of that, there's irrigation canals all over, like in those on those roads. So if you get a little to the left and you go a little bit down, boom, you're in the canal. You're in that. It's a little, little canal with water running through it. It is very difficult to drive on those streets. So I don't think you're gonna see a big ass truck, a 350 in Japan, because it would cover the whole street. Nobody would have any space. They wouldn't have any space, and it would just end terribly. There's no reason to bring a big trucks. Now, even in Japan, when they have minivans and they have like their little SUVs, they're very thin. So American auto industry would have to adapt to making the cars a lot more slimmer because of the fact that these roads are very thin. Um, if you ever go to those streets, you would be surprised. I guarantee you'd be intimidated to drive on those streets because you're like, holy shit, there's a car coming this way. Where do I go? I don't see that being a big thing. Like I don't think we're gonna just go in there and kill it in the auto industry. I would be interested to see if that's gonna happen because you don't see American cars there just because of the fact that they're too big. That's Japan for you, man. I know you have to really, really reevaluate how you're gonna make vehicles if you're gonna try to sell to our vehicles in that country. That's just the bottom line. Now, Indonesia tariff 19% on their exports. What Trump got? Zero tariffs on U.S. goods. That's a big one. Expanded access to rare earth minerals and copper. That's also great. Vietnam, what do they get? Tariffs 20% on exports, 40% on Chinese transshipment. That means because, a lot of things China's doing is they're sending things to Vietnam and then they're trying to say, well, this is not a Chinese product because we're at a trade war with China. So they're trying to say, oh, nah, we're going to send it to Vietnam, and then Vietnam's going to put their stamp on it and send it to us. And they're trying to bypass it. So they're not going to be able to do that. Now, what Trump got? Duty free access for U.S. goods, big one. The crackdown on China supply chain cheats. Now that's what I was just talking about. They've been cheating the system for many years. So that's one of the things I'm really interested in trying to stop that Chinese cheat chain that they got going on, and that's good. The United Kingdom tariffs, what they had 10% off on UK autos, first 100K. So good for 0% on steel and aluminum, also good. What Trump got? Full agricultural market access. That's incredible. And an estimated 5 billion in US exports boost. That's a big one. So a lot of investments, a lot of money, a lot of access is going on now. China, ongoing truce, tariffs. Now we're at an ongoing truce with them, but I don't think that's going to last forever. I hope Trump gets tough on China because I mean it's China. Come on, China. They've been cheating the system for the longest time. They're considered a third world country, even though they don't fit in that particular category, and they get a lot of incentives because of that. And they cheat. They have the most shitty products and use slave labor to do it. And it's time like everybody gets off the China train and kind of hold them accountable for all the things. Now, one of the big ones is tariffs: 20% fentanyl linked goods, 10% general. So The fentanyl thing is wild as hell. They're not even getting a profit off the fentanyl, which is crazy. So their whole intention is just to ruin a generation of Americans and get them addicted to these drugs and kill them. I mean, that's what's going on. We've lost more people to fentanyl, hundreds of thousands of people a year, than we have in all the wars total combined. It's insane that we haven't even said, you know what? Like, why are we dealing with this? China needs to be held accountable, and we also need to hold them accountable for COVID. Look at what happened after COVID. I mean, you could see it, the results. It's housing went up, fuck, groceries went up, auto went up. Everything has gone to shit after COVID. It's been a gradual increase. The 1% of people that have most of the money already got even more money, and then the people that own mom and pop shops got screwed over, and they have no longer have a business. And a lot of people got screwed. It was the biggest transfer of wealth ever in recorded history. And we just, okay, cool. It's move on as a country. What? No. Now status 90-day pause on escalation. So interesting in that. Next round, talks set for Sweden. So I hope Trump goes really strong on China. I know he has in the past. I know he's kind of friendly with Xi Jinping, but he needs to really, really put the interests of the American people, and hopefully we'll get some good things come out of that. Trump used tariff threats to bring countries to the table, then scored massive trade wins, billions in U.S. investment, market access, and tough on China enforcement. So again, follow us on X and follow us on Rumble, YouTube, and everything else. Check out our material if you like it. Subscribe. If you don't, let us know what we need to do to impress you, and we'll take those steps. One of the things I wanted to talk about was this breaking news story that came out the other day. I think it's incredible that these people are not displayed on the walk of shame in orange jumpsuits and shackles. They should be all arrested, every one of them, especially this guy right here. Look at this fucking prick. Dude, just looking at this guy, he's a prick. I hate this motherfucker, John Bolton. Oh my God, that no chin having bastard. He has like that permanent constipation face. Look at him. I mean, this guy looks like he's been holding in his shit for years. I hate this guy. I know a lot of people do. Trump, I don't know why he hired him on in his first administration. He said he was going to drain the swamp. And then he goes around, hey, where's the first swamp creature? Bolton, get your ass over here. Join my team. I don't know why he did that. Big mistake. I called it out when it first happened, and I will continue to call it out because it was a terrible thing that I don't know why Trump, but I guess he didn't know what he was doing in the very beginning. I don't know anybody it would be hard to think about just to wake up one day and you're like, oh shit, I'm president now. I'm the most powerful man in the world. What do I do? I don't know. Holy smokes, Batman. I like the way you put it. Holy smokes. It has just been revealed that John Bolton, while he was President Trump's national security advisor, was handed a classified memo explaining how John Brennan fabricated the Trump Putin collusion intelligence. Now, Tulsi Gabbard's been just a beast on this thing. She's been exposing all the corruption and all the deception going on that happened in Trump's first term, on how they, from the Steele dossier to Obama basically spying on him to try to have a coup against him. And we saw it led to the Mueller report. It led to an impeachment trial, and it was just all a witch hunt, and it was all a hoax, and we knew it at the time, but we finally got proof now thanks to Tulsi. And yeah, it's incredible, all the stuff coming out now. But Bolton never briefed Trump on it, per Paul Perry. Now this is treason. He knew about it. He didn't brief the president on it, and it gets more. There's more. It gets worse and worse. Traders like John Bolton and Trump's administration covered it up. So not only did they not know about it, not only did they not tell Trump about it, on top of that, they said, fuck it, we're not even going to tell nobody. We're going to keep it to ourselves, because they were all against Trump the whole time. Now, we knew this, and it's good to get some vindication. So MAGA supporters, take a bow, give yourself a hand, because we kept the line strong, saying, we think this is all bullshit, and it's going to come out eventually. The truth always eventually comes out, and that was one thing that we were hoping for, and we finally get some kind of little increments of details about it, and it's good to kind of get that vindication. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it feels good. Thank God, DNI Tulsi Gabbard had the ball running to expose all of this, and yes, thank you, Tulsi Gabbard, for exposing everything that's going on. So last thing I want to do is I'm going to show you Trump's latest interview about the Epstein saga going on. And one of the things I will say at the end of this, you will hear Trump say a sentence, and it's very troublesome. Like, why did he choose that word? Now, I think it was just like a figure of speech, what he's trying to say. but it was a really bad choice of words. And once you hear it, you're gonna be like, "What? That was a bad choice." Let's go ahead and watch it and see what he has to say, and we'll comment throughout the video just to kind of give you an insight on what's going on and the latest news on this Epstein saga.
You have not been briefed on the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name is in the files?
I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say that.
That's one thing, Trump. You need to stop saying it's a hoax, bro. It's not a fucking hoax. It's real. There's a woman in jail right now for the shit you're talking about. For sex trafficking of children. There's people. One man died in prison. Why didn't you tell Epstein about this? Why did he kill himself then? He killed himself just because? Like, come on. It's not a hoax. Stop saying it's a hoax. Now, if you want to say the people that were in charge of the files were putting in false information and it's a hoax, then explain it that way. Now, I don't know why Trump never does this. You have a fucking bulldog behind you, JD Vance. He's one of the most articulate people on your administration. He could go in there and shut this shit down. But you keep letting the Democrats have these wins by you saying stupid shit like this. Bro, stop. Let's do this the right way.
Those files were run by the worst scum on earth.
Agreed.
They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen.
Okay, you gotta love that he takes a dig at the auto pen. Yes, we were literally run by an auto pen, this country. Why isn't there more outrage that literally an auto pen was doing things on behalf of the president? We don't even know. The president probably was unaware of what any of it was. It's terrible, but let's keep going.
Files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, they can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Like, as an example, Christopher Steele, a person you know well, happens to be from your country. But Christopher Steele, as an example, wrote a book, a dossier. We call it the fake news dossier.
Fake news. Yes. Okay. Now you're kind of going the right route by exposing, yes, why did they not release this when they were in power? They had the means to do it, but they didn't. That makes sense. You're making some sense. But on top of that, you start calling it a hoax again. It's not a hoax. Now you're talking about the Steele dossier, which we all know, the P tapes, the famous P tapes that never were. That's so crazy that we just accuse, or not us personally, but it's so crazy that the government accused a sitting president of getting peed on by Russian hookers, and that's why he was compromised by Russian intelligence. That's crazy. You can't even make that up. It's so insane, but people bought it. They were like, yeah, that motherfucker getting R. Kelly out there. He's getting R. Kelly, from what I hear. Now he's kind of articulating himself a little better, but he, it's Trump, so we'll see where it goes.
And the whole thing was a fake.
Okay, stop saying that.
The whole thing was a fake.
No, it wasn't.
They could put things in the file that are fake.
Okay, then.
Those files were run by bad, sick people.
Stop saying the whole thing's a fake. Then if you're saying they could put things in, okay, you got us. You got me on board. Okay, I could see that. But stop saying everything's a fake.
If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was killing Joe and that he gave out because he was 25 points down? And then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about her. She was a horrible vice president. She was a border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we're doing. But she was the border czar. Her name was Kamala. Nobody knows her last name. It was Harris. But nobody knew her last name. So
I don't get that part of it. No, nobody knew her last name. It was Harris. I knew it, but nobody else knew it. We knew her last name, Trump. Come on.
I ended up, how would you like to end up in a race where you're killing somebody, you're beating him, and then they say, all right, we'll take him out. He's not working. Let's put somebody else. And then she had a 6-week honeymoon. It was amazing. They predicted she would have a 6-week honeymoon, and she did. And then she got slaughtered.
Do you feel that?
But think of it. Those files were run by these people. They were run by my enemy. If there was anything in there, they would have used them. for the election.
Do you feel
I
that?
think that drawing that, I think I heard you say something the other day, that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
Do you think it was fraudulent?
I don't do
Someone in
drawings.
your name?
Sometimes people say, would you draw a building and I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity, so.
Okay, whoever has those Trump drawings, I want to see them. Expose all those drawings. I want to see the 4 lines in the roof. Okay, let's go ahead and kind of dissect what he said. He's saying basically, if they had all this information, why didn't they expose it? We've been saying this for a while. That is true. If they had all this information, why didn't they expose it on his last term to run for president? This could have annihilated him. If I had something on my enemy that if I was running for something that I knew I was sitting on the information that could destroy his whole campaign, his whole presidency, why would I not release it? And I know people are going to say, because they're all in it. Okay. Still, they could have redacted information. They could have held some back, and they could have just leaked. Trump went to the island this many times. We have this, and it could have been by a whistleblower, and that whistleblower would have got immunity, and it would have been the end of Trump. And rightfully so. If Trump was in those files for abusing children or doing anything towards children, I think he needs to be exposed like anybody else. I'm not going to hold him to a different standard. They all need to be exposed because they're all terrible people. Whoever's in that file for abusing a child, I don't. There's no exception for that. There's nothing. If we're built, if our country is built off of pedophilia, then we need to be done as a country. That is not an acceptable way to run a country, and it's not going to last. And that needs to go away. It's evil. So I like what Trump's saying right there a little bit. He's talking about it, but he keeps saying it's a hoax, which I'm not. I don't know why he keeps saying that. He's at least expressing what we all feel. And if they had the information, why didn't they release it already?
But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. And also, Epstein was always a very controversial guy. I was at a very high position, pretty much all my life. In all fairness, I've been doing this for a long time. I had the top show on television. I had the #1 bestsellers. I had everything, right? And I was a very successful business guy. He was a very controversial. Who would do a controversial drawing? Now, with that being said, they say there were many letters done by many people, and many big people, big successful people. But I just don't. When you talk about files.
I agree with him there. I think that whole story that they had where he drew up and let you every day be a secret or whatever the fuck it was, I think it's all bullshit. I think they just ran with it and they're gonna get sued for libel about it. I think it's gonna be exposed as a sham and somebody's gonna get sued a lot of money. And we're gonna see that come to fruition very soon.
I just keep going back, and other people too. Even the enemy says this thing is not correct. Because if we had it, we would have used it on the guy. It's a bad issue. They say it's a good issue for Trump. Do you know that my
100%.
poll numbers are up 4.5 points since this ridiculous Epstein stuff? My poll numbers have gone up 4.5 points because people don't buy it. Okay, people don't buy it.
His poll numbers are up, but people do still support you because you're doing a good job on a lot of other things. But we still gonna hold you accountable for what you said. You're gonna release the files, and you need to release those files, and we're not gonna let up.
And he's gone, and we want to focus on trade deals. I want to focus on the deal we just made with the European Union, which is the biggest trade deal in history. It's the biggest deal, I think, in history, not just trade deal. So if they would have had something, they would have used it.
And people keep writing stories at the time you threw him out of Mar-a-Lago.
Now, all that I believe is true because it just seems highly improbable that they would have all this dirt on Trump to wreck his whole career. And I mean his everything. I mean, it would be the end of him. He'd be in prison. And they decided to, we're gonna sit on our hands on this one. We're not gonna expose that. That makes no sense to me.
Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining.
Waste our time, Trump. Waste our time. We want to hear it. Expose this shit. Tell people in your own words why you kicked them out. So at least it looks favorable upon you. I don't know why you just it's not a big deal. I don't want to bore you. What? No, bore the people. Tell them I kicked them out for these reasons. Show them, and then say like, oh, but he still was around, all the most prominent Democrats as well, and Republicans, like all these people. So y'all are looking at me. I'm the one that kicked them out. I'm the one that helped the FBI indict this motherfucker. Why do you take away the opportunity to kind of make yourself look better? Is man, your whole administration constantly you shoot yourself in the foot.
Planning it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein.
Why?
I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help.
Explain more.
And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
Mr. President,
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
Okay, now expose that. We want to see those files of him going to the island 28 times. Also, you say you kicked him out because he was stealing your workers. Is that the only reason? And because what I've read and what I was told is that you kicked him out because he was kind of like a creep, and there were some scandals with some of the girls there. Now, I would have went with that if that is the truth, instead of just talking about he stole my workers. No, he was fucking doing some shady shit with some of the women, and I decided to get him out of there because I don't allow that kind of stuff in my premises. That would have been a lot better to explain.
I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard, and many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
There's the one right there. Okay, now, if all those people, especially the head of Harvard, is in there, why don't you expose that so we can see it instead of just coming out your mouth? Now, the one line I want to really focus on is he says, I never had the privilege. Now, I know that's just probably he just said that because it's a figure of speech, but that is a terrible choice of words. You should have used a way better. You should use anything other than that. You could have just said simple language like, I never went there. No, but you said never had the pleasure. That sounds bad. That sounds really bad. I'm going to call it out. That's a bad choice of words for the situation that you're talking about. I there's no excuse. There's no excuse for that, bro. That's a bad word to choose for that sentence right there. Let's go ahead and hear it one more time.
Privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Okay, so that's it. Now, I agree. You shouldn't have gone to that island. If you did, we need to know about it. And anybody else that has, we need to know about it. We know Bill Gates, Chris Tucker. Now you're talking about the head of Harvard. We know Bill Clinton. There's plenty of more. I'm sure a lot of hedge fund guys too. Yeah, expose all that stuff, man. We want to see it. That's why we voted for you. So, like I said, everything he was saying, I'm totally in agreement with. Until the point where he's talking about it's a hoax. I don't think it's a hoax. I think everybody needs to be exposed. We're not going to take any half-ass excuses on why you're not doing that. Keep holding them accountable. Keep holding his feet to the fire, and keep everybody that's in power holding them accountable as well. Nobody should ever get a pass because you like them for certain reasons. If it's like something minor, I get it, but if it's something major like what we're talking about, no, you don't get a pass. Indicted. You don't get to pass go. You don't get to collect $200. You're going to be exposed. You're going to be indicted. And you're going to have the walk of shame that we can all see you in an orange jumpsuit in shackles and handcuffs. And that's the last image we want to have of you, other than you sitting in a jail cell the rest of your life. So if you agree, let me know. If you don't agree, let me know. But I still support the MAGA movement. I still support Trump. I don't support him blindly, but I still support the whole agenda of America first. And I hope that it continues to go down this route. There's a lot of things that are not showing that, but there's a lot of things that are. So we can never have a perfect administration. But let me know in the comments how you feel about the whole situation going on with the trade deals, with Trump's handling of the Epstein files, and everything else in between. Y'all go ahead and one more time, like, share, subscribe, comment, let your friends know, keep supporting us. I hope the more support we get, the better, and we appreciate anybody that supports us, and we want to continue to push out content for you guys. I'm probably going to be doing a live segment for 30 minutes every day at 9 o'clock. I'll be letting y'all know more about that, just about whatever's going on. Doesn't always have to be politics, but something funny. I always take suggestions, so if you give me some news stories, I'd love to hear about it. We could talk about it, give you my opinion, and hear about your opinions on there. Now, time to say goodbye. I will see you later. Y'all have a good one. Peace.